At the end of day one in Sweden, it was incredibly close between Sebastian Loeb and Mikko Hirvonen, with Hirvonen the rally leader. Many fans out in the wilds in Sweden. Lots of enthusiasm as ever. And they're going to be looking forward to a thrilling fight between the drivers that finished first and second in the world last year. The enthusiasm, even though the stages start very early, and fans from not just from Sweden, but from all over Scandinavia here to see their drivers in action. Some 2 hours drive from Stockholm. Karlstad is the base for the rally. And as ever, Mikko Hirvonen is determined to try to get a win. He had a tremendous day yesterday, taking 3 stage wins. Took the lead after stage 5. Loeb also took 3 stage wins. And in with a shout still is Danny Sordo. Won the opening stage and ended up 4.4 seconds behind Loeb. Not such a good day for Kimi Räikkönen. This is a sight you would have expected to see the 2007 world champion doing. Digging himself out, lost 26 minutes. And also having some dramas on day one was Marcus Gronhog, 2.3 Ks into the stage. He lost power. Peter Solberg lost control, running wide with some problems with the studs, and then later on having contact with Matt Wilson. And a very unhappy Matt Wilson back at service, back at the stage. Matt Osberg, an engine problem meant loss of concentration and momentary loss of grip, put him off the road, dropped him to 9th from 7th. And this is what the day looks like. Fragassen is the first stage into the legendary Sagen stage, and the Frederiksberg stage is also going to be part of the day. Stage 15 going into darkness, and Collins Crest, one of the most famous sites in international rallying. You're going to see the guys in action coming through that stage twice today. Early start as ever, 6 AM start, and by the time the guys got to the service, 7:10, already a drama for the rally leader, Mikko Hirvonen. The end of the super special on the first day. A problem with the drive shaft meant the M Sport team had to work extremely hard and extremely quickly. Very difficult, -21 conditions to try to get the car back and ready. As you can see, just 1 minute and 20 odd counting down before the car needs to leave service. Despite the M Sport crew getting the job done brilliantly, cold weather meant that even the jacks were struggling to work properly at this kind of temperature, and almost meant that Hirvonen was late out of service.
We've just seen Mikko have a last-minute dash to the time control from this first service on Saturday morning. What was the problem?
Yeah, a little bit of excitement on the Super Special last night. He burst a dry shaft boot, so it's very important that we changed that this morning. Of course, we only had a very short service time, and it was, yeah, it's quite a difficult job, but obviously in these temperatures, -22, then it makes it even a little bit more difficult.
We saw the jack get caught a bit underside when the car eventually got out. Is that because of the cold?
Yeah, it's just literally because it's been so cold overnight, and even though we've had things like the jacks and everything under cover, obviously the oil's goes quite thick, and of course the jacks don't work efficiently as they normally do, like a lot of the things in these conditions.
Fans very hardy out and ready for action early in the day. Fireworks being set off, showing their enthusiasm. Well, Chinese New Year, Year of the Tiger, perhaps. That's why they're setting off their fireworks, or maybe it's just another way of sharing the fun. You can see the fans jumping up and down to keep warm. This man is going to be focusing on one thing, and that is on extending his rally lead.
Pitkä vasen täys. 200. Pitkä lippu täys 150. Huomio, pitkä vasen loiva aukeaa yli.
Notice on the bonnet there, the vent just to the left of the shop. Slightly different positioning for the air intakes for the winter rallies, because they want to make sure that the air vent is taking air from the top, not from the front, to help prevent excessive cold temperatures going through and any possibility of snow getting in there. Can be a problem for some drivers getting stuck in the snow. If they clip the snowbank, get the front stuck, tends to be slipped, gets wedged against the radiator, causing overheating problems. No such problems for Hervonen, though. Let's enjoy this ride through the forest.
Huomio, lyhyt vasen hidas, tiukka. Jarru 3 oikein tosi hidas, menee ja käännä. 5. Oikein tosi hidas, tiukka, kivi ulkona. Heti lyhyt vasen täys, 4. Pitkä vasen tosi hidas, mene kirraa vähän kivi sisällä. Pidä 3. Lyhyt oikein hidas, käännä. Pidä, huomio. Vasen nopea, kirraa tosi hitaaksi, tiukka. Oikein tosi hidas, menee ja aukeaa yli nypyn. 5. Lyhyt oikein eri, 7. Vasen tosi hidas, tiukka. 3. Oikein hidas. Jarru 2. Vasen tosi hidas. 4. Oikein hidas mene. Jatkuu oikein täys aukeaa yli nypyn. 100. Vasen tosi hidas mene ja pidä. 2. Oikein tosi hidas.
Aggressive start from Hervonen and from Loeb off the line. Like many of the drivers deciding whether or not to use the launch control system. It seemed that Loeb has been preferring to use it for his starts. He has a difficult job in hand today, trying to hold Hervonen in check with Hervonen having such an aggressive start. So let's ride on board with 6 times world champion.
50 mètres, attention, gauche ferme 90. Et droite sans plus. Et droite à fond sur attention 70 mètres, gauche 90, Milon. Moins. Et droite 110 plus Milon sur 1. Pour 30 mètres, gauche 100 Milon. Et droite 120 moins ouvre. 100 mètres. Gauche 110 Milon. Et droite 90. Et droite 133, ferme 110 plus. Sur gauche ferme 110. Sur droite frein pour gauche 100 plus. 100 mètres. Attention gauche 110. Et double attention ciel. Pour droite 116, ferme 90 long. 50 mètres. Gauche 100 Milon. Et gauche 90. Et droite 90. Et ciel pour gauche 130 Milon tard. Et attention frein pour ciel pour gauche 110. 70 mètres. Droite 90 plus Milon tôt. Ouvre. Et gauche à fond moins. 132 mètres, attention. Droite 144 moins frein pour gauche 90 très long.
So Loeb, as ever, displaying his very, very smooth driving style. Has it paid off? Well, at the start of the stage, 6.2 seconds was Hervonen's lead over Loeb. The first split, 6.3 Ks. Loeb is 1.8 seconds slower at that split. They go to the second split at 20.7 Ks. See if the difference has changed at all. 11:41.4 for Hervonen. Loeb crosses the line, 4.4 seconds. He's dropped in total. Colin's crest on stage 9, named after the legendary, the late great Colin McRae. The fans will put markers down, and the competition is there to see who makes the longest, most spectacular jump of the rally. So Hervonen has said he is going to attack from the beginning. He knows how close it is between him and Loeb, so he can't afford a cautious approach. He's fairly steady at the start of day 1. For day 2, though, no such difference. Look at the speed of these stages.
Lyhyt aukeaa ja kirraa pitkäksi nopeeksi. 5. Oikea loiva. 150. Pitkä oikea täys miinus yli nypyn 300. Oikea täys. Ja pitkä vasen täys aukee.
A mixture of forest roads all the way through this section. Apart from the crest, Collins Crest, there's a big jump at 16 k's. Need to be very, very careful through there. Mixture of twisty and straight section through here. And this section is one of the stages that the drivers absolutely love. Cars reaching speeds of up to 190 k's at sections on the road.
150 yli. Vasen K käännä. 120. Pikkunyppy täys 100. Oikea täys miinus 150. Oikea eri pidä. Ja vasen eri mene ja käännä. Maali 120. Neljä ollaan 16 eellä.
Tremendous opening start to the day for Hervonen. You see the time compared to Loeb. Just a moment. Let's hear from Mikko Hervonen.
Mikko ended the first stage and 4.1 up at the last split I have at 16 k's. That's a good start.
Yeah, it's a good start. Have to push pretty hard though. But it's stage was already after the wreck. It was full gravel, so really hard for the tires now. Straight first thing in the morning.
Loeb again taking Collins Crest with full commitment, adjusting the air vents in the roof occasionally. Jari-Matti Latvala had a problem on stage 9 with the vent being jammed open on his car, causing too much cold air to circulate throughout the car, and he said it affected his concentration a little bit. Notice Loeb adjusting a couple of times throughout the stage to something causing him a little bit of a lack of comfort in the car. It doesn't seem to be affecting his pace too much.
250 mètres, gauche 149 moins, ferme 130 plus. Et droite à fond Milan. Et ciel pour droite à fond Milan. Jusqu'à 300 mètres, droitier. Droitier, attention. Gauche ferme 140 pour Milan, sur frein pour 80 mètres. Droite 130 moins Milan. De 150 mètres. Gauche 140 bon mi-courfond. 250 mètres, gauche 140 bon mi-courfond, ouvre long. Et droite 140 plus Milan. Et droite 140 plus en ciel. Et double attention. Gauche 140 pour ton ouvre et ferme 130 plus Milan à 80 mètres. 100 mètres. Gauche 130 plus Milan. 150 mètres. Droite à fond Milan. Droite à fond Milan 130 mètres. Droite 140 moins Milan. Sur gauche 140 pour Milan. 250 mètres. Attention, droite 120.
Le dernier gauche 130 plus.
In the end, we just hear Loeb there talking to Daniel Elena. 10.8 seconds now is the gap. He said to Elena to change the notes. And that could be significant for the second run through for Loeb.
Sebastian, end of the stage. 4.6 down on Mikko.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a good stage and Mikko was very fast. Especially in the slow part of the stage, he's always a lot faster than me. I don't know why. Yesterday it was the same and today again, so I tried my best.
So at the end of stage 9, the lead now 10.8 seconds. Danny Sordo still in with a shout, just 20.3 seconds off the lead. Latvala having a solid run. Rogier Solberg, Osberg still in 7th. Himself back up there after losing some time on day 1. Matt Wilson and PG Anderson rounding out the top 10 in the S2000 Skoda. Great battle in SWRC and also the PWRC. We will have a programme about that. We will have more action in just a moment. Beautiful, crisp, clear morning, and after stage 9, that is the top 6. And you can see it is 10.8 seconds. The gap just slightly edged ahead. And going to be very important as they go into the second run through the stages later in the day. Marcus Gronow, though, absolutely loves this stage. This is the Sagan stage, and it's his favourite stage in the whole World Rally Championship. Of all the stages he competed in, so much so, he named his restaurant in Finland after it. Absolutely classic test, last featured in the rally in 2004. Very wide in places, a triple width road in fact. And big fast left-hander at around 7.5k, which the drivers will be taking absolutely flat out. And in just a moment we're going to get a chance to see some telemetry with Marcus Gronow and see exactly what the car is doing, what sort of speeds he is, etc. as we run through the stage. So let's enjoy the rest of the ride with the twice world champion.
Oikein täys 7, oikein tiukka sumppu ja vaseri miinus kirraa. Miinus kirraa. 5 ja oikein helppo ylinypy pidä sisällä. 120, vaseri miinus kirraa sumppuun ahdasta. 100 ja hae oikein eri ahdas. Toista hae oikein eri ahdas, 8 ja vasemmalle sisältä 2 vasen nopea kirraa. Ja oikein täys 200, oikein pitkä nopea kirraa. Toista pitkä nopea kirraa. 5 ja vasen täys 150. Hae oikein eri 5 ja vasen pitkä eri. 7 vaseri ehkä pyöreä sisältä. 5 ja nyppy 5 oikea eri ehkä pyöreä. 200. Vasen pitkä eri miinus kirraa ahdasta. Pitkä eri miinus kirraa ahdas. 5 ja oikee pitkä nopea kirraa. Toista pitkä nopea kirraa. 7 ja oikee täys 240. Vasen täys yli nypyn 100. Nyppy täys 120 ja vaseri miinus kirraa ahdas. 5 ja oikein eri tiukkaa ahdas 120.
Previous stage 9, Gronow was 5th quickest on the stage. Very quick towards the latter part of the day on day 1. Lost all that time on stage 5 with a technical problem, some sort of electrical problem, caused the car to cut out. Lost an awful lot of time there. So now focusing on stage times. Has had some testing recently, both in this car and also in the Fiesta S2000 car, to try and get himself back up to speed after being out of rallying for a while. Of course, competed in Portugal last year, but very different sort of circumstances for him here, one that he's clearly relishing.
120 ja nyppy oikein pitkä eri. Toista nyppy oikein pitkä eri. 8. Vasen eri tiukka. 5 ja vasemmalle sumppuun oikein hidas. Vasen sumppu oikein hidas. 7 ja nyppy 3 vasen pitkä eri miinus.
And the first and the second splits tell the story that he's as quick as Sebastian Loeb through here. So clearly the car working well and Gronow back in the groove and in with a really good shout. A fantastic time on the stage.
120. Hae oikein jouhea ahdas yli nypyn. Pidä sisällä. 120. Oikein eri miinus sumppuun ja vasen pirun pitkä eri kirraa. Pirun pitkä eri kirraa. 100. Oikein eri tiukka ahdas. 8. Ja vasen eri miinuskirraa, toista miinuskirraa. 5. Oikein pitkä eri jouhee. Jatkuu oikein eri sumppuun. ja nyppy vasen eri helppo, pidä sisällä. 100 ja vasen täys yli nypyn 100, oikea eri helppo yli nypyn 100 ja nyppy vasen eri miinus kirraa vähän. Miinus kirraa vähän 8 ja vasen pitkä nopea kirraa. Pitkä nopea kirraa 130. Oikealle 2 ja vasen eri tiukka paha sumppu. Toista oikealle 2 ja vasen eri tiukka paha sumppu. 4 ja vasen eri miinus sumppuun. Toista miinus sumppuun. 7 ja oikea eri jouhe yli nypyn. 7 oikein pitkä nopea kirraa vähän. Pitkä nopea kirraa vähän. 5 ja hae oikea eri jouhee sisältä ahdas. 150 ja nyppy 5 vasen nopea kirraa. Toista nyppy 5 vasen nopea kirraa. 100 ja vasen pitkä eri tiukka tarkkana. Pitkä eri tiukka tarkkana 3 ja oikea hidas. Hidas. 7 ja vasen eri miinus sumppuun. Oikea eri helppo. 250 ja vasen eri tiukka ahdas. Toista vasen eri tiukka ahdas. 100. Ja oikea täys. 150. Vasen eri helppo ja hae vasen eri jouhee sumppuun. 7 oikea pitkä eri tarkkana kirraa vähän. 8. Ja oikea laita 4, vaseri miinus sumppu, toista miinus sumppu. 250. Nyppy täys 100 ja oikea pitkä hidas. Ja vasen eri jouhee. 8. Oikea laita vasen eri ahdas sumppu ja oikea pitkä eri. 3 ja vasen pirun pitkä hidas, kirraa ahdasta. Toista pirun pitkä hidas, kirraa ahdasta. Tää pitää sisällä, lopussa kirraa vielä. 100. Ja vasen laita, oikea laita, vasen eri jouheen.
It was in fact a very, very good run by Marcus Gronholm. Ended up second quickest on the stage. He was fourth on stage 11. While Hirvonen pushing incredibly hard for the level of commitment he needs at this stage in the rally to try to maintain that lead he has over Sebastian Loeb. Remember, it was 10.8 seconds at the end of stage 9.
Merkiltä nyppy täys 150. Vasen nopee. Pidä 5. Oikein nopea tiukka käännä.
And that was a big thump there from the back of the Focus. Latvala just flicking the car straight off the snowbank. Whether that was intentional to be that sideways or not, difficult to say. Didn't cost him too much time. Ended up third quickest on the stage 10, on stage 10 rather, and still ends up leading now by 6.7 seconds. This man Sebastian Loeb has taken a little bit of time out. Let's see exactly how much. Get to the end of stage 10.
Sur gauche 110 plus, 0. Gauche 110 plus s'ouvre et ferme 100 plus.
The end of stage 10 it was, 3.7 seconds that he took out of Hirvonen.
A second quicker than Mikko in there, going in the right direction again.
In 2 weeks I could win the rally if I continue like that. So yeah, it's difficult. I was on the maximum all the time and I couldn't make any difference.
So 0.2 of a second, as we heard there on stage 11, was 3.7 on stage 10. Danny Sora, though, has been tremendous so far, pushing incredibly hard. He's won the opening stage of the rally, the Super Special, and was battling into second and third, but a 6-gear spin. Ended up getting stuck in the snowbank briefly. Some frantic Spanish instructions from Mark Martin. And ended up losing a total of 16 seconds to Loeb, allowing Latvala to get a little bit closer. So we go to final stage before service, the Hugforce Sprint, special stage 12. This has been run in this format in 2007 most recently. So we're going to follow the world champion all the way through stage 12. Watch out for just how narrow this stage gets in places and to see how precise Sébastien Loeb is with his driving through the particularly tight sections.
Gauchy, sur droiti et frein pour 100 mètres devant maison, droite 90 moins de taux. Et droite 90 plus long tard. Sur attention 20 mètres, gauche 50 de taux. 20 mètres, gauche 50 de taux. Et barrière sur 5 mètres, gauche 20 glisse. Et gauche 120 moins long. Et attention, droite 130 de frein pour gauche 30 très étroit. 130 de frein pour gauche 30 très étroit. 100 mètres. Droite gauche 60. Et droite 10 épingles. Sur gauche 30. 80 mètres. Gauche 123 moins. Ferme 110 pas corde. Et droite 100 plus mi-long. Et gauche 100 plus mi-long ouvre. Et ferme 102. Ouvre et ferme 102, ferme 80 long. Sur droite 40 épingle tard. Droite 40 épingle tard ouvre. Et ferme 80 plus long. Donc 80 plus long et gauche 40 épingles. Gauche 40 épingles 50 mètres. Gauche 120 moins long. Sur bosse et gauche 110 plus. Bosse et gauche 110 plus ouvre long. Et ferme 133 moins frein. Pour droite 20 pas corde. Ferme 133 moins frein. Pour droite 20 pas corde. Et droite 40 épingles.
Loeb stops the clock quickest in that stage, ends up winning his third stage on the trot, closes the gap down to 4.2 seconds to Mikko Hirvonen. Sordo's still there after losing a little bit more time than he would have liked with that spin. Latvala, Ogier, Henning Solberg, and great to see Andreas Mikkelsen, young man who finished 5th here in 2008. Just rounding out the top 10, PG Anderson having a tremendous run in the S2000. Fans for Nilsson and some of the other guys from around the other Nordic countries. We will be back in a few seconds. See you very soon here on Motors TV. Welcome back to day 2 here in Sweden. Kimi Räikkönen has had a spectacular start to his World Rally approach. Let's hear from his race engineer.
Yesterday was his first real day on rally. It was quite happy with the car, but he's still working on improve his pace notes and try to concentrate on his drive style, because for the moment, as he said, he can drive just 70%, and he have to try to listening the notes, and this is a difficult thing for him for the moment.
Listening carefully to Kai Lindstrom alongside him, also getting advice, of course, from Sébastien Loeb and, of course, from Danny Sordo as well.
You want to know which setup shows the factory drivers like Danny and Seb. I discussed a lot with Seb Ogier also to know his feeling on stage, to compare his feeling, because he don't know his feeling is normal, is because of his manner to drive, because of the car. So he discussed a lot. He wants to know. For him, it's important to know, to compare.
Despite lack of experience in a rally car, a lot of experience in Formula One, he give good feedback to his engineers.
He is very sensitive. He understands how I work a car. He understands how I work a suspension, how I work an engine. he is very precise on his feedback, and for the moment we try to make him a car easy to drive, because he wants to be in confidence with the car. This is the main thing we try to do for him, but the feedback is very good. He has a big experience on Formula One, and he feel each click on dampers. It's very interesting to work with him.
Of course, we'll be following Kimi very closely throughout the season here on Motors TV. Certainly as he gets to some surfaces he might be a little bit more confident with. Expect to see some spectacular performances throughout the season. So service after stage 12, that is the story at the top. Loeb, Sordo, Latvala, Ogier and Henning Solberg.
Danny, are you a little bit disappointed that you're not in the battle for the lead?
Yeah, Sebastian and Mikko is pushing really hard, and also I make a small mistake, not a small, big mistake in the last stage before 4 kilometers before the end, and I had a spin and I lost 15 seconds maybe.
Explain to me what happens. I mean, everyone's talking about the fact that the gravel's coming through. How does that affect the tyre, and how does that feel to you?
It's heat in the tire. Obviously, when the studs are biting into the gravel, it's getting a lot more heat into the rubber, and then the stud starts to move a lot. And when it starts to move in, it starts to understeer, and it's not really biting so well into the ground anymore. So everything I do just happens very lazily, and when I go into the corner and turn the wheel, nothing happens first, and then it slowly starts to go into the corner. So you kind of have to predict everything a bit earlier and just, you know, well, I'm just lucky. I don't know how I do it.
Well, we don't know how he does it either, but it certainly is working at the moment. And do it back on the longest stage of the rally, the Vargasten stage. This is the one with that tremendous jump that we saw early on. So let's ride on board and see if Mikko Hirvonen can extend his lead any further. And watch out for Collins Crest a little bit further in the stage.
Jarru 4, vasen tosi hidas menee, Paro Ulko. 100. Oikee K. Pidä 6. Lyhyt vasen K, tiukka käännä, 120 yli. Oikee tosi hidas menee, kirraa vähän käännä, 110. Lyhyt vasen täys, miinus yli nypyn ja tuplanyppy täys 5, lyhyt oikee täys ja pikkunyppy vasen laita, huomio 5, nyppy 10, lyhyt oikee nopea, tiukka pidä 2. Vasen hidas yli nypy, mene ja käännä 4. Nyppy oikee laita täys 7, huomio, lyhyt vasen eri, jarru 3, lyhyt oikee hidas, mene sumppuun. Heti vasen nopea, jarru oikee tosi hidas, mene sisältä. Ja pitkä vasen nopea menee ja aukeaa yli nypyn, pidä 5. Oikee K, pidä ja pitkä vasen nopea, kirraa, jarru oikee tosi hidas, mene. Ja pidä 2. Vasen tosi hidas, tiukka. 6. Hae oikee eri, mene. Ja nyppy keskeltä täys miinus 5. Hae nyppy keskeltä 10, lyhyt oikee nopea, mene tarkka. Heti vasen K, jarru oikee hidas. Jarru 2, vasen tosi hidas, mene ja käännä. Jatkuu. Vasen hidas, jarru, pitkä oikee, tosi hidas sisältä. Aukee. 1 ollaan perässä. Vasen loiva, 120. Hae pitkä vasen loiva, kirraa kooks. Tiukka, pidä.
Second pass through this stage now. Obviously the drivers had a chance to put new tyres on. As it affecting the jumping tactics of Hirvonen through here. Loeb's got to go some to beat that. That was spectacular action from Mikko Hirvonen. Shows you just how hard he's trying. For Sebastian Loeb, he's still very committed. He's still trying every bit as hard to close that gap down to Hirvonen. The Latvala has been very quick on this stage. In fact, a little bit quicker than Hirvonen and Loeb winning the stage.
Sur droite, il surprend pour attention, bosse pour droite 130 pour tard.
Every bit as spectacular as Mikko Hirvonen. And Sebastian Loeb shows us why he is the most successful rally driver in history, with that level of commitment. Still able to pick the throttle up early when the car lands and carry the speed through the next section.
Sur gauche 140. Et bosse à fond. Et droite 140 mi-court et frein pour 100 mètres. Droite 100 mètres, bon mi-long. Sur gauchy. Gauchy, attention ciel pour 20 mètres. Gauche 140 mi-court. Sur droite à fond ouvre et attention frein pour gauche 130 bon. 100 mètres. Droite 140 moins mi-court. Et droite 140 mi-long, pas corde. Et ciel tout droit, 130 mètres. Ciel tout droit. Et gauche à fond sur frein pour 150 mètres devant maison. Gauche 90 moins.
So by the end of the stages, it was still Hervonen extending his lead very slightly. Coming into stage 14. Hervonen slightly quicker than Loeb on this stage.
160 yli. Vasen hidas. Heti lyhyt oikea Loiva. 120. Haen nyppy oikein koomene sisältä.
Significant this time that Hervonen has taken the decision to change the tyres before the start of this stage to give him a good chance through here. It'll be very significant when we look at the times later in the day.
Pour 60 mètres, gauche 80 moins long tard. 100 mètres. Gauche, droite, gauche.
So 7.9 seconds the difference. That could be all about that tyre choice. Loeb now 14.8 seconds behind Hervonen. But this man, Marcus Gronholm, has been charging incredibly hard. A puncher on stage 13, lost him 7 minutes. Now back on his favourite stage, stage 14. Experience is showing through. He is going to push incredibly hard all the way through to the end. Let's watch to see where he ends up on stage times.
Ja vasen laita, oikea laita, vasen eri jouhee, oikea eri miinus, maali, turikokoulu.
He wins the stage. Marcus Gronholm is back by exactly 1 second. Overall, he's well out of it. Punches, yeah, that's what it means to Marcus Gronholm. So this is what it looks like at the end of stage 14 now. 14.8 seconds, Sordo dropping away a little bit more. Latvala closing down slightly more on Sordo. And Matthew Wilson now ahead of Mads Osberg. Petter Solberg has fought his way into the top 10. Fans ever enthusiastic. Stage was delayed at the start of stage 10 because there were too many fans, and that is what you really call an armchair enthusiast, isn't it? We're going to have the rest of the action from day 2 here on Motors in just a few moments. So as we go into the latter part of the day, we'll see the rally action ending in darkness, and that is going to be a fantastic memory for those fans who've, like myself, remember all the rallies of old when we used to see rallying in the dark. But for Raikkonen, darkness is one thing he could do without, because even in the daylight it's tricky for him. This is on stage 10 earlier in the day, and just getting into the soft snow on the edge of the stage, just understeering away, possibly where the studs weren't quite gripping the way he expected. Fortunately, the benefit of all those spectators is plenty of people to give him a shove and get him out of the snow. All down to experience, as we heard from his engineer a little bit earlier on. So the end of stage 14, Loeb 14.8 seconds behind Sordo, Latvala, Ogier and Henning Solberg round out the top 6. As we go into stage 15, you can see the darkness now very apparent, and going to be a big problem for Marcus Gronholm, whose lamp pod is clearly not doing a job it was designed to do. Maybe cause him to misjudge his braking point, slide into a bank.
Mä laitoin diffin päälle, pistä käyntiin vaan.
paukut on pois. Mitähän nyt piti pyynnetään yleisö näyttää, että nyt.
Very unflurried. Timo Raitanen, as usual, very calm.
Come on, Aini!
Bit of a shout to the spectators. Unfortunately, a few on hand, like Raikkonen, to get a little bit of a shove and get him going again. You see the level of support for Gonham here when he won the stage earlier on. Shows just how popular this man is and how great it is to see him back in the series. See the lampod there, just completely hanging off now. Absolutely no use to him whatsoever. Understandably, losing an awful lot more time. Sébastien Ogier's first time rallying in Sweden. He's had a really solid run. Team have been very impressed with young Frenchman's performance. Lost his spoiler on stage 9 at the start of the day, and through the very high-speed sections that we saw on 9 and 10, affected the balance of the car through the high-speed 5th and 6th gear corners. He wasn't aware of where or how he lost it, but certainly has recovered well, and in fact ended stage 15 with a tremendous performance, getting himself up into 4th position on the stage. Danny Sordo, after such promise on day one, big spin dropped him out of contention. And as they go into the darkness, there was more drama to follow for Sordo. Flashing warning light on the dash, and indication that the car was running way too hot, and that Mark Marty was forced to hop out and to remove a snow cover that was on the front to allow some more air through to the engine. I think it had slipped and was causing a problem with overheating, and this meant that he dropped out of 3rd position down behind Jari-Matti Latvala. And that podium position is going to be very, very hard to achieve, but Latvala was absolutely flying. Already seen him win one of the stages earlier in the day. I think spurred on by the problems that Sordo had. He was up on the splits very early in the stage, looking to maintain that all the way through the end of stage 15.
Risteysvasen 5 ahdas.
But Sébastien Londo was starting to struggle a little bit more with his tyres. Was determined to try to head the gap back to Mika Hirvonen, but with the rear tyres completely shot, he did a pretty good job to manage to get the car 3rd on the stage, losing around about 5 seconds to Mika Hirvonen, 6.2 to be precise.
Sur droite 110. Sur gauche ferme 100. Plus 2. Sur droite 100 Milon.
So for the world champion, despite being fastest on 3 stages, it is still this man Mika Hirvonen who leads the rally on stage 15. Put in another smooth, precise and committed performance. Turned up just behind his teammate Latvala by a mere half a second at the end of the stage.
Heti oikein tosi hidas mene. 7 oikee jarru 2 vasen hidas käännä. 8 yli. Huomio, oikein nopea, kirraa, jarru 2, vasen tosi hidas mene, kirraa vähän. Ja oikein tosi hidas mene. 100, hae, lyhyt vasen loiva, 7, vasen jarru 3, pitkä oikein, tosi hidas, mene. Huomio 6. Vasen tosi hidas käännä. 5. Oikein vasen nopea kirraa. Heti oikein nopea tiukka. 6. Oikein jarru pitkä vasen hidas tiukka. 7. Pikkunyppy lyhyt vasen. Jarru 4. Oikein nopea tiukka kirraa. Jarru pitkä vasen hidas kirraa lopussa. 5. Nyppy oikein nopea tiukka. 7. Nyppy 10. Vasen hidas käännä. Jatkuu vasen luipa.
So at the end of stage 16, the super special the drivers went to. In fact, it was Martin Prokop who was fastest, Irvinen only 12th, but still has a 16.6 second lead. At the end of the day, Latvala now solid third, Sordo, Oje, Solberg, and at the top 6.
Mikko, that 16-second lead, will that be enough for you tomorrow?
We'll see. It's got, I don't know how many 100 kilometers to go, and for sure he's going to try like hell. So it's not all over yet, but it's a good lead now.
How was today? Were you pleased with your performance? Were you pleased with the gap that you eked out?
Yeah, I was quite happy. It's you know, it's just stupid to do these stages twice. Like, it's just about the tires in the second run, who has the best tires, and then we still do the super special, and I didn't have any stats left, so I knew I'm gonna lose like 6 or 7 seconds. But otherwise, it's been a good day.
It was very difficult, and finally I've done a mistake with a tire choice. We didn't put the new tire on the right moment, and then I lost a lot for that.
So day 3 is going to see stages at Valmorsassen, Grammen and Lesjöfors. Going from the service park in Agfors, 101 k's of stages. That's right when he said it was about 100 k's. Are we going to see more wins from Gronholm and from Latvala perhaps? But will it be Sebastian Loeb or will it be Mikko Hirvonen? Meanwhile, Patrick Flodin leads the PWRC. PG Anderson leads the SWRC. We will be back with action from day 3 here on Motors TV. Thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you. Day 3 action soon.